Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be doing a One Piece analysis video on hard work, basically, within as a theme in the story of One Piece, and how that's a compare and contrast with other stories, basically, that have that same theme of hard work. So please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave your comments below, your thoughts on the topic we are discussing here today, and also Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a Happy New Year. So I'm Akainu Fanboy, the other guy's Geboss. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure I covered it all. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, I would say I was kind of thinking how in some series where you have Naruto, you have Rock Lee, for example, as kind of like the quintessential, and my guy, right? The quintessential hard workers. You know, they have these training montages, and they're just like basically work ethic supersedes everything else, basically. And you get some other side characters like that. In My Hero Academia, you have tons of characters like that, where there's a huge focus on work ethic, where you have Endeavor, you have Bakugo, you see it a lot with Midoriya, you see it with Shinzo, where they just basically want to keep on working harder and harder and harder, and they have like training montages and everything like that too. And the series Blue Lock, you see that with just tons of characters all over the place, obviously. Are there any other series that kind of come to mind with this type of character mold that I'm describing?
I mean, you can, if you look deep into it, you can go over any type of shonen story. They always have those types of characters. Like, I would even say, like, in Jujutsu Kaisen, probably Maki, because she has something to prove. But yeah.
So yeah, you tend to see it a lot, and so I was just kind of thinking, like, is there a character in One Piece that tends to personify it? And then also, is this theme really even emphasized that much at all in One Piece? So I think those are kind of some interesting points right there. But so what do you is there like a character that comes to mind that would come the closest, just like the hard worker, basically?
Well, I mean, we tend to write him off because he gets glazed so much, but I would say that when I think of hard work in One Piece, I think of Zoro, because he's constantly like doing the dumbbell training and everything. But yeah, I would say that him, out of all the Straw Hats, kind of exemplifies that, because we see like the fruits of his training constantly. But it's kind of undermined, like, earlier in the series, like whenever there's like a big power up in a shonen story, there's usually some sort of backstory behind it. Like you were talking about Naruto, he had the whole training montage where he learned how to do like the Rasen Shuriken. He created all the clones to do that. And his training with the Nine Tails, trying to control it, training to develop Sage Mode. Like, you see all that. But as much as we love like Enies Lobby, one thing that we can say is that kind of Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy's power-ups kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why. I feel like with Oda, he constantly wants to keep the story itself going, where the powers, they just kind of he evolves them as the story needs it, you know?
Yeah, and so, like, I would agree Zoro would be the character probably closest to it, and maybe just the way Oda writes it, though, and maybe this kind of gets to the second part, you don't really, like, if you were to make like a motivational video of One Piece, there wouldn't be that many clips of Zoro training. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be probably last like a couple minutes tops, you know, of him like going hardcore doing that training. Like, let's just say a Naruto-esque type of thing, you know? And I think kind of what diminishes him as like the hardworking character is that he's too broken after post-time skip, where it doesn't look like he struggles anymore for the most part, you know?
Yeah.
He just kind of like one-shots so many characters and just kind of carries on, you know?
But I still feel like when we have the few times in between the arcs, especially like in the movies, I feel like like when all the Straw Hats are being introduced in the movies, we see him training as his thing that he's doing. Like Sanji's cooking, he's training, Luffy's hanging out with Chopper and Usopp.
Yeah, so I guess you could see him doing that, but I guess like is there like I guess I would say like is there an emotional aspect to it? So like let's think of, like obviously the Rock Lee training story, you know, and even when he does his fight with Gaara, you just see his work ethic like carry him through, and you do see that with parts of Zoro for sure with some of his fights. But I guess it's not like kind of like that grinder mindset where you're just like giving it every last bit of your being in the training and things like that. It's kind of like, oh, here's a little scenic. Okay, yeah, he's training over there, you know, but we're not really seeing him in an emotional way. Kind of like I said, like Rock Lee. You see some moments with Bakugo and Midoriya too, for example, you know, where they're just like trying to scrape the barrel of willpower in a way. And I think like another character that would kind of come close with along with Zoro would be like Kobe too, even though we don't see as much of him in the story. I'd say especially with the Egghead Island fight, you definitely see like that work ethic carrying him with someone who doesn't have that much in the way of talent.
Yeah, but I would say like the emotional part we got from Zoro's training that kind of roots back to why he does his training is the flashback with Kuina, because it shows that he trained so much and he still couldn't beat her. So I feel like at the core of his character, that's why he's always kind of training, because he doesn't want to lose again, especially with like Mihawk and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I just, but again, it's not like a critique on One Piece. I just don't feel like it's as in your face as other shows are sometimes, you know, the work ethic aspect, you know, and I think especially post time skip Zoro, he's turning into more like, oh, I'm a badass. Look at me one-shotting people, you know, which is very different than the type of character types like I kind of have been presenting throughout this episode, you know. So kind of like, let's just say, I guess we get onto the second part of this. It's like, I know like there's like a degree of humor that comes in the One Piece that kind of like it's like humor and adventure are the main things, and mystery are the main things that push One Piece as the main themes, you know. And I wouldn't really say like working as hard as you can necessarily is like a huge theme. Now you could say like they want to achieve their dreams as any way possible, but in terms of them like going through like the dirty work ethic of like, let's just use Netero from Hunter x Hunter for example. There's nothing really comparable maybe of like that training method he did, you know, to find that piece in One Piece. Maybe the closest thing would be like the Garp Kuzan Kobe thing with the battleships, you know. That's like the only thing I could really think of, you know. But I'm not saying like people don't work hard in the series as characters. I'm just saying that theme isn't as a central focus as the other themes that I've been bringing up that tend to be more of a focus in One Piece.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, I feel like Oda as a writer is more concerned with the world rather than kind of the minutia of it, like how the power-ups happened, you know. They happen and they serve the story.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not saying this is a criticism, but some people have made this criticism that he says characters in One Piece have no character development or they never change, you know. And I think a lot of what goes with character development a lot of the time is a hard work ethic, you know. So, but that's not like, so if you don't have much in the way of like characters changing, that usually goes hand in hand with not having like a strong work ethic too, or like, and not a strong work ethic, but like illustrating a strong work ethic in the story, you know. Yeah, because when you think of like the strongest fighters in One Piece, do you really see them as quote unquote hard workers, or do you just see them as powerful? You know what I mean? Like let's say like Shanks, he's really cool, mysterious, and powerful and broken, but do you really see him as like a hard worker? And I wouldn't say that, or like when I think of Shanks or Dragon. Dragon's definitely not a hard worker because the guy hasn't done shit, you know. And then who else would be more? Kaido, really. I mean, Kaido you just kind of see as like a lazy drunk sometimes that gets angry, and then Big Mom, you wouldn't say she's. Maybe you could call Blackbeard like a schemer, but you don't really say he's like a trainer, like a hard worker either. You know.
He works hard at being underhanded.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing I do want to bring up though is, we do get to see like, I guess whenever there's like a time skip in an anime, we do see the fruits of their labor after the time skip, like how they've changed and everything. And I mean, even with Luffy, we've seen him kind of pre-time skip. We see him learning about hockey. We see him develop that right after the time skip, and then even through like Whole Cake, we kind of got a mini like training thing with him learning Future Sight from in his fight with Katakuri. We see him learning about Rio on Wano, and that was like its own little mini training arc in the prison. And then we see him learn about Conqueror's hockey in his fight with Kaido, which was kind of pulled out of nowhere. But but yeah, we do kind of get to see that with Luffy, but not so much as the other characters. But I don't know if it's as like character driven as you said.
Yeah, I would say kind of what you see more in One Piece, though, in terms of quote-unquote hard work, would be manifesting more in willpower in the form of hockey, where the main struggle in One Piece is, like, pursuing your dreams and finding your reason to live and to be, your reason to exist, basically, you know? That tends to be, like, the biggest struggle a lot of the times, where Robin, she said, I wanted to live. Sanji had to, like, get out of his dark families to find people who love him, where like Nami needed to like get over her trust issues and things like that too. Chopper needed to have some confidence in himself too, to kind of grow and to become a better doctor. Usopp needs to be the warrior, right? So you can see like willpower and ethic kind of get broken down with a lot of these characters. It's just not done through the same way as like power training, but I think it's done through the pursuit of their dreams, And so in that way, One Piece tends to be different than the other series, where, like, yeah, Rock Lee, it's his dream to be strong and powerful and things like that too, but it's really illustrated a lot more in him getting stronger and through power, while I think in One Piece, it's like, no, I need to, like love myself and love my crew and to fight for my crew, in a way.
So you would say that in... like with Rock Lee, that's a major part of his character compared to or like his defining thing as his character, his hard work ethic, compared to One Piece, where it's kind of incidental.
Yeah. The right, or it's just like manifested differently. Like I said, with the dreams, like that's when they give it their all. Like that's their main reason for fighting, is for their friends, and getting their dreams and things like that too, so, and that's when you really see them shining. It's serious, but it's kind of hard to show a training montage for that off to the side, like we get little clips of that here and there, but I think with Oda, there is so many other characters and moving parts and world building that it's hard to focus on that, like
exactly, yeah.
The world of Naruto is so much smaller than One Piece,
Yeah.
Same with My Hero, Blue Lock, right? And even Hunter x Hunter. Hunter fans, you're just too dumb to understand that. It's way bigger. No, it's not. It's like tiny in comparison. Like, there are so many like movie factions and everything. And then he's like predicting and setting up stuff for future arcs, and you have the Void Century, and so. The time when they really get the shine and show like that, shonen anime work ethic is kind of like basically done in their fights primarily, which is why we don't really get training montages as much,
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's the thing with One Piece though. It's all the world is being set to the fulfillment of their dreams one day, you know, and that's why rather than, so yeah, it is different. It's kind of sometimes more macro rather than it is micro with One Piece, you know.
Yeah,
it's interesting, but that tends to be the case, you know. And those, like I said, yeah, so Kobe, Zoro, yeah, it is funny, like those are kind of the two characters I can really only think of right now, you know. I mean, people can leave their comments below if you can think of any more, you know, but I really can't.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, and I don't think that we're gonna get anything like that, especially this late into One Piece.
Yeah,
because I feel like everyone's kind of where they're meant to be, except for Usopp. He's gonna get something in Elbaf, trust me.
yeah, because Usopp's not much of a hard worker either.
I don't know. Well, he's more like strategic, you know. He's not training himself, but training his mind to overcome things. Yeah,
like I said, just going through like all the strongest characters we've ever seen, you know, it's just kind of funny. Like, it's just more like natural talent, I think, or their devil fruits or whatever tend to be the main things that push them. Like, Buzan's lazy, Kizaru's lazy, you know. Fuji is a strong moral little guy, but we don't want to say he's like a grinder either, you know. The Supernova, maybe Kid and Luffy are the ones that have the strongest work ethic to me, you know.
Yeah, not Law really.
Not Law, not like Capone, Apu, Hawkins, you know, like you see that theme I'm just trying to establish here more. It's like, okay, like you know, so I don't know. It was just kind of interesting to kind of look at One Piece, I think, more at that angle in comparison to that with other shows, you know, like because aside from like Rock Lee, you kind of have like Shikamaru, where you could see the effort he puts into things, you know, and the struggle like that really you see demonstrated a lot in his character. And it's just kind of hard with One Piece. We're having a hard time thinking of characters like that, you know. But like I said, for other reasons, Oda needed to focus on other things too, you know. So, but yeah, do you have any other closing thoughts? I think those are kind of like the main points that I wanted to provide there.
Yeah. No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
All right, cool. Well, anyways, leave your thoughts below if you could think of any hardworking characters from One Piece, or how I was wrong in my analysis, or the reasons why Oda writes it the way he does. Just leave their thoughts below on that, and we'll see you guys soon. We'll have our One Piece top 30 coming out soon. All right, have a good one. Peace.
See ya.